Despite a global snub and a near pariah status, Pakistan continues with its K-rant. In fact, the Kashmir issue is something that Nawaz Sharif is likely to bring up yet again at the UNGA. But will he get the kind of response that he wants, considering that Pakistan's bluff has been called internationally? That is highly unlikely.
पाकिस्तानी मार के ग्रेनेड, संचार मैट्रिक्स शीट, संचार के उपकरण, पाकिस्तान में बना अन्य सामान जिसमें खाद्य सामग्री, दवाइयां और कपड़े शामिल हैं। यदि पाकिस्तान सरकार सीमा पार से किए गए इन हमलों की जांच करने की इच्छुक है, तो भारत उरी तथा पूंछ में हुई घटनाओं में मारे गए आतंकवादियों के फिंगरप्रिंट्स तथा डीएनए के नमूने उपलब्ध कराने के लिए तैयार है। अब हम पाकिस्तान सरकार से जवाब की आशा करते हैं।
India today summoned Pakistan's High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, and gave evidence of Pakistan's involvement in terror attacks in India from Pathankot and up to the latest terror attack in Uri. India gave details of
and reminded him that the government of Pakistan had made a solemn commitment in January 2004 to not allow its soil or territory in order to carry out attacks in India. 17 such attempts have been interdicted at or around the LOC, resulting in the elimination of 31 terrorists and preventing their intended acts of terrorism. Foreign Secretary also reminded the Pakistan High Commissioner that even as he spoke, 2 engagements at the LOC were ongoing. In the recent incidents, we have recovered a number of items that include A. GPS from the bodies of terrorists with coordinates that indicate the point and time of infiltration across the LOC and the subsequent route to the terror attack site. B. Grenades with Pakistani markings. C. Communication matrix sheets. D. Communication equipment. And E. Other stores made in Pakistan, including food, medicines and clothes. If the government of Pakistan wishes to investigate these cross-border attacks, India is ready to provide fingerprints and DNA samples of terrorists killed in the Uri and Poonch incidents. We now expect a response from the government of Pakistan. भारत के विदेश सचिव डॉक्टर एस जयशंकर ने आज पाकिस्तान के उच्चायुक्त श्री अब्दुल बासित को विदेश मंत्रालय में बुलाया टेरिटरी अंडर इट्स कंट्रोल टू बी यूज्ड फॉर टेररिज्म अगेंस्ट इंडिया. The persistent and growing violation of this undertaking is a matter of very serious concern. The latest terrorist attack in Uri only underlines that the infrastructure of terrorism in Pakistan remains active. We demand that Pakistan live up to its public commitment to refrain from supporting and sponsoring terrorism against India. This year, beginning with the Pathankot airbase attack,
So that is the spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, Vikas Swaroop. Pakistan's High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, was summoned by Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar. India has given details of Pakistan's involvement in terror activities in India, cross-border terror, not just at the line of control, but also along the international border in Jammu and Kashmir, and said that Pakistan needs to crack down on terror that's aimed at India. That terror infrastructure is still active in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We will continue to get you the latest on that story. But for the moment, I quickly want to cut across to Padmaja Joshi at the line of control in Uri to get you the latest ground reports.
Apparently, Pakistan's rogue army is now on edge and is fearing India's reprisal attack. We've learned from our sources that the Pakistan Army Chief Raheel Sharif pressed the panic button and had a hurried phone conversation with the Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who is now in the United States.
Shaken, nervous, jittery, and overwhelmed by insecurity. That's Pakistan right now. Faced with a grieving but grim and determined India after the Uri terror attack, Pakistan has now painted a big guilty sign across its face. Top sources tell India today that Pakistan's Army Chief General Raheel Sharif dialed Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif today to inform him that there was a massive buzz over an imminent strike from India. Sources say Nawaz Sharif told his army chief to respond in full measure. While Nawaz Sharif tries desperately to scrape Pakistan's rock-bottom reputation off the floor in New York City, his country has made its nervousness plainly clear. For instance, Pakistan has cancelled all civil flights from Islamabad to the northern areas. The Pakistan Air Force has been placed on operational standby to retaliate very quickly. Finally, Pakistan has closed off several motorways which it could use as airfields in the event of a conflict with India. Pakistan's nervousness is not really surprising. A series of humiliations have destroyed its confidence and revealed its desperation.
Secretary John Kerry of the United States has told Nawaz Sharif today, stop harboring terror. That's humiliation number one. Humiliation number two, the Kashmir issue has been blocked from the United Nations General Assembly. Ban Ki-moon has told Pakistan pretty much to take a hike. Humiliation number three, China has hinted, if you can believe it, that terror threatens the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC, which is very important to both countries. So that's a slap in the face for Pakistan. Humiliation number four, India and Afghanistan may actually boycott the SAARC summit in Pakistan scheduled for November. Huge international embarrassment. Humiliation number five, Baloch leader Brahmdag Bugti wants asylum in India as first reported by India Today. Another slap in the face of Nawaz Sharif. Humiliation number six, Pakistan's own Chief Justice has said some Pakistani political parties support terror groups for vested interests. What could be worse than that for a country like Pakistan? And finally, humiliation number seven, the Manhattan bomber has a direct link to Pakistan. He visited Pakistan twice and each time he spent a year there. What could be worse for Pakistan's reputation?
India is in no hurry to jump the gun. For now, Pakistan definitely is. With Kaswar cluster in Islamabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
The NIA probing the Uri attack has now stumbled upon a definite link to an insider in the carnage. In fact, it seems that there were specific details that were available to the terrorists armed with which they sprung a surprise on the Jawans.
Deadliest terror attack on an Indian army base in 26 years. "18 soldiers from all corners of the country martyred. Those guilty, the terror sponsor and the terror mastermind, Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar. Two more names have emerged, Kashif Jan and Rauf Asgar, who, along with Azhar, masterminded the brazen attack. Kashif Jan, a name not new to Indian intelligence agencies. The Jaish operative had escorted the Pathankot terrorists to the border in January and is thought to be the main handler for Uri. NIA sources tell India Today that Jan went underground 3 days ago. The other, Rauf Asgar, is Masood Azhar's younger brother. He masterminded the IC-814 hijacking and is one of the top Jaish commanders. The National Investigation Agency is still not finished gathering evidence from the army camp. But the initial findings are explosive.
Sources have told India Today that the soldiers in the Uri camp were sleeping in barracks which also had a cache of arms and ammunition. The terrorists locked these barracks from outside and set them on fire, which is why the soldiers inside had no chance to escape. Those who managed to get out of the inferno were immediately gunned down.
NIA has also decided to question arrested Pak terrorist Bahadur Ali for more information on Uri attackers. The Lashkar man arrested in July will be shown photographs of the killed terrorists in hope he can nail the Pak connection. Bureau Report, India Today.
The army is tight-lipped about the number of terrorists who have been neutralized in the two simultaneous operations which are being carried out in Uri and in Handwara, but it is not ruling out the possibility of even more efforts being made to push in terrorists, even as we speak, from across the border.
First, there was a brazen attack on Jawans in Uri on Sunday. Just 2 days later, there was a fresh infiltration bid in Uri's Lachipora. The army engaged a group of 10 to 15 terrorists, killing many and repelling others. In Naugam, another encounter broke out with 4 to 5 militants. One army Jawan succumbed to injuries sustained in the attack.
There is a massive combing operation going on in different sectors of line of control to deal with infiltrators. Even we can see in the hinterland, these are the roads which are heading to different sectors of line of control. They are being now wired so that check is being kept on each and every movement of people, even of vehicles who move through these roads.
The army has so far remained tight-lipped on the gunfight and combing operations. Sources, however, are not ruling out a fresh bid from Pak to push in more infiltrators. Caught in the crossfire, the locals in Uri are fearful.
ये हमने सुना है कि उड़ी से भी कोई उग्रवादी आए थे, क्या हुआ था क्या नहीं हुआ था, कितने डेथ हो गई, क्या बात है, तो आवाज आता रहा, हम डर जाते हैं।
2 घंटे 2.5 घंटे गोलाबारी हो गया, कुछ पता नहीं उधर का है ये इधर का है, कोई पता नहीं।
A search is now on to recover bodies of slain terrorists lying nearly 300 meters short of the line of control. Continuing firing from infiltrators makes the operation difficult. With Padmaja Joshi and Ashraf Wani, Bureau Report, India Today.
Even as we speak, two simultaneous counter-terror operations are currently on in Uri and Handwara. At least in Lachipura, the small village has been jolted by the infiltration of a huge number of terrorists. But will that change anything for them? India Today gets you the most comprehensive and fastest updates with the largest number of reporters on the ground.
This entire area is a zigzag of India and Pakistan. So if I try to show you the Pakistani bunker, it's not even to say 5 meters across. Though the area has been covered, but we can try to show you these visuals. So generally when firing is on, the Pakistanis vacate this post. They're not here. But it is a brilliant opportunity for them to keep an eye of what is happening in India and what is the position of the soldiers. But the BSF Jawans are always on their guard. So this is one big challenge that faces them.
The encounter at Lachipura is still ongoing right behind us. In fact, it is a few kilometers from here. Of course, the entry points have been completely barricaded and there is high security in the entire area. On Tuesday, there was continuous exchange of fire in this particular area, but since there has been a lull as far as the army is concerned. They say that the status quo remains. The operations are still on. There was a big group of terrorists who had been engaged, who had been intercepted by the army, and ever since, this operation is still continuing. An official number on the number of terrorists who were present and those who have been killed hasn't been confirmed by any of the forces who are involved in this particular operation. But this entire area is now completely off limits for the civilian population.
As the investigators are picking up evidence from Uri, where this attack took place on Sunday, there are some important questions that crop up. Some of the investigators have observed that there is a possibility that some insiders would have been passing information to the attackers. So that's how these attackers could come to the exact spots which were the most vulnerable in the garrison. The attackers also knew what was the right time and date when this changeover was taking place. All these points are leading the investigators to probe whether there was someone from inside who was passing on information.
This is the season when maize crops are standing in the villages near line of control, providing cover and hiding space for infiltrators to reach from one place to another place. This is being believed that probably the cover of these maize fields may have helped the infiltrators who attacked Uri army camp. And even in this sector of line of control, more and more militants are pushed from Pakistan to infiltrate into Jammu and Kashmir just to take advantage of this topography as well as of this season.
Unfortunately, though, India's border watch remains in shambles despite the earlier Pathankot and now Uri attack. Various probe reports have remained unimplemented. In fact, an exclusive India Today reality check at the border in Punjab has revealed several posts without personnel, extremely lax checking of cars, and even some ambitious projects that have remained non-starters.
Despite multiple terror strikes in Pathankot and Uri, India's borders remain as vulnerable as ever. India Today cameras now expose shocking lapses. There are no Punjab police personnel manning key checkposts at Madhopur near the international border. Even the BSF and police personnel present at Lakhanpur border rarely flag down vehicles. Alarmingly, there was no policeman to guard the Pathankot airbase, which came under attack in January.
First Dinanagar and then Pathankot terror attack, and now recently the Uri terror attack. It seems that the Pathankot police and Punjab police has not learned any lessons. We are here at the Madhopur police barrier, where we can see that the police walas are absent from this barrier. No vehicles are being frisked or stopped for checking as claimed by the Punjab police officials. It seems that police has not learned any lessons from the previous attacks.
But most worryingly, border fences along several stretches near Pathankot are broken. The chinks can cause fresh terror strike any moment. The BSF finds its hands tied as the ambitious laser fencing system is yet to take off.
Punjab Police is doing its bid with the BSF, and we have created a second line of defense in coordination, in tandem with BSF. In the hinterland, we are laying nakas, and we are doing patrollings also.
The Jawans manning these border outposts are ready for any eventuality. But authorities can ill afford to betray them by turning a blind eye to glaring shortcomings. With Manjeet Sehgal in Bamial sector in Pathankot, Bureau Report, India Today.